Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Data Cloud Now. I'm currently joined by Kris Ewing, Global Head of Data Strategy and Stewardship at NielsenIQ, along with Bob Wang, Head of Digital Transformation, North America Sales at Kraft Heinz. Gentlemen, such a pleasure to have you both on the program today.
Thank you for having us. Excited to be here.
Great to be here. Thanks, Ryan.
Gentlemen, both NielsenIQ and Kraft Heinz sit at the intersection of consumer behavior. From your collective seats, what's the data showing you with regards to macro trends, and how are you working together to drive deeper outcomes for your consumer ecosystems? Kris, let's start with you.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Ryan. I don't think it'd be a surprise to anyone here that digital commerce and the continued acceleration of digital commerce is really helping shape a lot of the macro trends in our industry. But what's interesting is that despite 93% of consumers today shopping in digital commerce, and that's happened over years and years and years, we're actually seeing a continued transformation in the industry with digital commerce. So what do I mean by that? Well, for example, the marketing funnel went from previously weeks, right? That point between when you created demand and when demand was fulfilled, to then days, and now it's even seconds with social commerce. So fun fact, Twitter is now the #7 largest retailer in the health and beauty space in the industry. Just imagine that. Most people think of Twitter not even as a retailer, right? It's a social platform, and yet it's the #7 retailer in the US in health and beauty. And what's more, a quarter of consumers in the US are interested in purchasing through social commerce. So you think about what that means, and then you've got the rising trends of Gen Z, right? Gen Z is already the largest generation in the US. It's growing at twice the pace of every other generation before it. So you think about that, it's like we got social commerce rising, it's accelerating the pace of commerce in the industry. And what does that mean for us and our customers? Well, first and foremost, we need to have platforms that can keep pace with this pace of commerce, right? We need to be able to transition data and have access to it to get to these insights faster and faster. And that's really where Snowflake fits in with our overall platform plans.
Kris, great perspective. Bob, would love your thoughts as well.
Well, I think you bring up a great point there, Kris. And I think one thing we can all agree with is that technology has truly accelerated the way that consumers connect with brands.
Right.
We think about after the pandemic, everything just accelerated. And now we have a seamless, connected experience across the omnichannel landscape that has really never been seen before. Well, look, think about this. Imagine you're watching your favorite TV show on Paramount Plus, right? Maybe a Heinz commercial catches your eye, right? You can pull out your phone and then kind of take a look at, maybe explore some Heinz recipes. Who knows, you might even find a burger recipe or something for dinner. But then if you're really feeling lucky, you actually can go in store, scan a QR code to enter a raffle for a chance to win a pretty slick Heinz themed grill. Look, the point of the matter is that our consumers could connect with our brands whenever, wherever, and however they want today. Now, the partnership with NIQ and the insights that they can help us with really get us into the nuances and the depth of how consumers are behaving in this incredibly dynamic time. Right, so all this would lead us to better marketing strategies, product recommendations, that's gonna help drive that brand loyalty, that brand love that we're trying to get after. And ultimately, all those are gonna result in stronger partnerships with our retailers, better programs, and ultimately drive that value equation all the way down to the consumer.
Very much in it together. Bob, thank you so much. We're currently in Chicago at Snowflake's World Tour, and the ecosystem is quite literally all around us. How does the AI Data Cloud's ease of use serve as the backbone for your collective data foundations? Kris, let's go to you.
Yeah, sure. Snowflake's a big partner of ours. We love the data warehouse capabilities overall. We're one of the largest processors of data in the world. So with the breadth and depth of data we work with, we literally are processing trillions of data points every single week. And so when you want to work across that kind of scale of data, obviously managing it's very expensive, time consuming. And so what we love about Snowflake is that we can leverage it to sit on top of our disaggregated data, terabytes and terabytes of disaggregated data, and users can readily aggregate it to the level that they need to make decisions on their business. So we love the kind of speed and overall power of Snowflake. And then some of the capabilities within the data cloud, like Snowflake Data Share, right? That's a huge part of our partnership with Kraft Heinz, allows us to simplify the process of getting our data connected with our customers' data so that they can get the right insights that they need. We love what it does with just making ETL more efficient overall, makes our data more accessible. What other things we like in the data cloud, we do love the confidential compute capabilities. So, I sit in a role in data stewardship, right? So I want to make sure we're making our data accessible, but keeping it protected at the same time. And so confidential compute's a really great set of functionality that, can enable us to, again, unlock new insights for customers like Kraft Heinz as efficiently as possible.
Great to hear, Kris. And Bob, from your seat.
I think Kris mentioned some fantastic points there. And just to kind of add on to what Kris mentioned there, I'll simplify it in one basic way in what AI Data Cloud does for us. It absolutely democratizes the data across our entire enterprise. So now we have developers that can go in and pull different data pipelines to bring into various digital solutions that we can then deploy and develop for our respective business problems that we're trying to solve. So we are much faster, much quicker, are getting after the pipelines that we need.
Great to hear, Bob. Data is clearly more important than ever. Can you tell us how you leverage Snowflake to help you achieve faster speed to insights? Bob, let's start with you.
Well, that's a great question. If I think about the sales space that we operated in, right? Think of before Snowflake and after Snowflake.
I love that.
Our sales users would have to go to disparate data sources to get their insights that they needed to understand their business. Now you can probably see that's going to drive a lot of inefficient ways of working, but also inconsistent ways of looking at the business. Think about the several hundred people that's crunching numbers on their respective machines. That isn't always the most effective way to go and run your business. Well, after Snowflake, guess what? Those data silos start coming down, and then we can start pulling those data pipelines in, such as syndicated data, shopper data, NIQ data, whatever it is, into a single platform for all of our sales analytics that's going to help us drive our business in a much quicker, better, and more efficient way, that then we can find those growth opportunities that's so hard to get to and bring those and package those to our retail community.
Great to hear. And Kris?
Yeah, so I totally agree with Bob. It's all about breaking down data silos, right? So for us as an organization, we operate in over 90 markets around the world. So we've been on our own journey for a number of years now of breaking down all those silos of data around the world and bringing it together to make it accessible to our customers like Kraft Heinz. But also, there's a data silo between our organizations where our data is better together, and yet it doesn't naturally exist, right? It's separate. And so that's where, again, Snowflake Data Share has just been a great part of helping to streamline the process of bringing our data together so that Bob's team, as they're going through this digital transformation, right, they can make our content accessible in real time with all their content. What it does for ETL is amazing. It's taking things that used to take weeks or days down to seconds, where we update our databases, and it's literally, I can make the tables accessible to Bob in real time, which is just huge for, again, speed to insights is so important in this industry. So taking out those hours and days is huge, huge, huge for the industry.
Well, gentlemen, it's been such a pleasure sitting down with you here at Snowflake's World Tour in Chicago. Before we wrap, what's next for NielsenIQ in Kraft Heinz? Kris, why don't you lead the way?
Yeah, sure. So, for us, what's next is all about that scaling of this same concept to more and more markets, more and more data sets. So, as I mentioned, we operate in 90 plus markets around the world. Bob's team, we work with them in many of those markets. So, unlocking the next capability in the next market, we've got this up and running in the US, going to Canada and other countries around the world is huge. But for us, speed to insights is also about making sure we bring unique new content to our customers so that they can identify trends that are going to drive the business forward as quickly as possible. So a great example of that is a new data set called Label Insight that we just made available to Kraft Heinz through the same technology. What Label Insight does is it's about unearthing rich health and wellness attributes on the products that are in market. So think of this as, looking at back of label to figure out if a product's keto friendly or organic, all these new trends that are really emerging and driving the industry. We want to make that accessible to our customers like Kraft Heinz as quickly as possible. I think we're actually in the process of putting this data into the Snowflake marketplace as well. So really, really cool stuff. Again, getting to those insights faster and faster.
And Bob,
Ryan, funny that Kris, you should mention that. We actually just started experimenting with some of these label insights. And I'll tell you, what Kris mentioned before, this is so important because we're trying to see what are the evolving consumer trends and what is it moving to? Can we predict and start to see where that may go? Could be new product attributes, it could be certain trends that are gonna be hot and coming. And we've got to get really great in the space because we want to continue to lead the future of food at Kraft Heinz. And certainly with some of these insights and some of this work and this partnership, we can certainly move in that space. So exciting times here at Kraft Heinz in partnership with NIQ and certainly with Snowflake, and can't wait to see where this takes us.
an exciting next chapter indeed. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank
Our
you.
pleasure. Thank you.
And for the audience watching, I'm Ryan Green with Data Cloud Now. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you soon.